Hi, and welcome to TubaPeopleTV.com, where we are all things Arnold Jacobs all of the time. Here we have on this episode of Tuba Talk, we are on location in Tucson, Arizona at the Mike Becker Low Brass Boot Camp. And I'm so happy that we can take this time to speak with Mike. Mike was a student of Arnold Jacobs for a number of years. And Mike, I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions. If you, thinking back on your experiences with Mr. Jacobs, if we can talk about in terms of macro effect or macro influence and then micro influence of Mr. Jacobs on your career, what would you say in terms of a big picture?
Well, I had my first lesson with Mr. Jacobs when I was actually 13 years old, and I remember it like it was yesterday because, I mean, I didn't know. I just heard, well, this guy is supposed to be like a really good teacher, you know, and I grew up in Chicago, so I figured, well, he's in the Chicago Symphony, he must be pretty good. And I just had heard about his reputation. So I was really lucky because he doesn't normally teach 13-year-old kids. So what I remember most is that I went in there and I played, and he said, oh, you make a good sound, you're really talented. But the thing that I remember so much is that this idea of singing, that whenever I'm playing my trombone, that I want to be like a singer, and that the voice in my head should just reflect, you know, what the horn should reflect what the voice in my head is. And so all the notes on the page, they just represent sounds, and it's not ink, it's just transformed into sounds and the song in your head. And that was just very transformative for me.
Were you able to transform, as you say, his instructions right away, or did it take a long period of time, short period of time? How were you able to?
No, I would say it was a kind of a direct impact, certainly.
So within the lesson, even the lesson, you were able to make a significant.
Yeah, he had a way when you were in a lesson with him of just making things so clear and getting you motivated and getting results really quickly. And when you're a kid, you know, you absorb things really fast. So I would say it was really amazing. Actually, I noticed the difference right away. And that's why I wanted to go back and see him again. And he saw me maybe 2 more times after that. So.
And you, in terms of any particular issue that you might have had, was there anything that he did for you on an acute basis, or were you problem free?
I certainly wasn't problem-free, no. And still am not problem-free, but he gave me the tools, I think, such a great fundamental baseline to work from. And to get it at that age was really a gift. But the tools, I think, to work through things musically, I think was a really great, what I came out of there with was really great, because I think that from that day on, or those days on, I always try to think about approaching technical issues from a musical standpoint first. Mm-hmm. And like he would always say, the body knows what to do. So if you give it the right commands, it knows what to do and it responds. I think that's a good rule to start with when you're playing a piece of music or you're trying to achieve something on your horn, is to get the clear picture in your head first. And then just like chipping away at it, you know, like it's just a slab of rock, and you're Michelangelo, and you see the image, but you just chip away the unnecessary parts. And of course, you know, you do have to work on things on a different level eventually, but I think it's such a great way to start first. And I do it myself, and I try to tell that to my students too. So I try to give to my students too.
If you had to quantify his legacy, maybe even around the world, would you be able to do that in terms of his pedagogy, his teaching? Do you think that his teaching has had an impact around the world, or is it more just regional?
Oh, it's global. Yeah. And, people I play with, whether they're in my age or younger or another generation older, I mean, they're all influenced by Jake. You know, I work in Chicago sometimes, and I know that Charlie Vernon has a lot of respect for him. Jay Friedman has a lot of respect. Everybody there has a lot of respect for him. And I think that there's no doubt that they were influenced by him. Even if, you know, they didn't obviously study with him. Well, Charlie studied with him, but just his playing, you know, just having such a huge force musically, you know, it influenced everybody. And through the recordings, and even if you didn't study with them, it just permeated. Yeah, I'm absolutely certain it just permeated through the brass world.
I have this theory that between Jacobs and Herseth, those two, between certainly Jake's sound and his teaching, and then Bud's sound, those two really changed the sound of orchestral music around the world.
I would agree with that. You know, it's like the top and the bottom. You know, they influenced, you know, so much, and they were icons. I mean, they were the standard for what you would want to achieve in an orchestral style and musicality.
Yeah, for many, many decades.
Yeah.
Do you was there anything, any influence on you from Mr. Jacobs, maybe in a personal way, or how you handle yourself professionally? Was there anything that was, you know, maybe extra musical that you can think of that was significant for you?
I think his standard. You know, I remember playing something for him once, and I felt I'd practiced a lot, and this was later, you know, when I was in college or maybe out of college, and I was preparing for an audition, and I thought I really played something well. I'm gonna really impress him. And he said, "Well, you sound like an amateur." And I just was stunned, you know, because I thought I'd played it pretty well. But he showed me, you know, that not just playing the instrument well was not good enough. I had to match a, you know, certain standard and above that, always, all the time. And as usual, he always got me to do things pretty immediately. And I realized that I can find something within myself to play even better all the time. So I think that was, you know, you talk about on a professional level, I think if you can bring that in every day and always try to you're always trying to reach a better standard all the time. Can it be better? Can this be better? Can what I do be better than what I just did? I think that was what I took away from that.
Well, certainly you are promoting that here at the Mike Becker Low Brass Boot Camp as well.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's a very good community and communal standard and a way of approaching music and the instrument. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Well, you know, the auditions these days are, I mean, they're always tough. I mean, but it's so competitive. You have to always try to make it better to compete, because there's always going to be that person out there that is going to, you know, play really well, and you always got to think that there's somebody out there that's going to raise it to a different level, and you want to try to do that. So you have to have models. I think that was another thing that I took away from him. He would say, you know, often, well, how would Dale Clevenger play this? How would Bud Herseth play this? Or how would, you know, somebody that you know, really look up to play this? And at some point, I got really turned on to Dietrich Fischer-Dieskau, and since he was talking so much about a vocal style, you know, I started listening to him in college, and just, you know, it's just amazing, you know, the amount of detail and musicality that he put into his music. So I just tried to imitate. That's the voice that I always try to imitate. Fischer-Dieskau in many cases, yeah. You know, maybe in the orchestra I'll use different models of brass playing, but I always like to come back to that model, and it's the baritone, you know. So.
Well, that's great. Well, Puddles and I really do appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today. And Puddles was telling me that it would be very rude of me to come here and take your time without having some sort of thank you gift. So He actually selected this thank you gift. Mike, thanks so much for being our guest here as a genuine package of duck nuts from the University of Oregon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. I love duck nuts.
Puddles does too.
Oh, great.
He picked these personally just for you.
Great. You travel around with him all the time?
We go all over together.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's good. All right, now back to the studio.